Okay, let's recap a bit, shall we? This was meant to be a new start, really. A perfect world. Free from all the evil that had corrupted each and every corner of the known and unknown universe. It was going to be a place of safety for the kids, the little yous. You little... Well, so far, so good. But things started to go wrong soon after you arrived. Now, I can understand your initial shock coming face to face with Maxis, especially after so long. But you did the right thing. You followed the plan. You brought the summoning key here, and you destroyed that bloody machine once and for all. Thing is, Maxis went and ballsed everything up. He heard voices, you see, calling to him. It wasn't really his fault. You know, he hasn't actually got his soul yet. All I got was a brain. Anyway, the key thing, as in the thing that is key, is that Maxis fiddled around with the summoning thingamajig and accidentally released an even bigger bastard. Someone even I didn't know was in there. The Shadow Man. The one and only original harbinger of doom. So, I'm going to be absolutely truthful with you. Things have got way too far out of control. This isn't any vague woo-hoo evil. We're talking about the Apothecans, the most powerful and evil entities in all the existences that ever existed. And now they're here, in our perfect world. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. It's a fucking shit show. With the evil vanquished, I can start making it all nice again. No undead, no apothecans, no shadow man. All of it gone. Forever. But here's the funny thing. You snowflakes shouldn't even still be here. You should be fading out of existence by now. Those blood vials. They're from realities we've already closed off. They shouldn't be here. They can't be here. Such a paradox means you're putting my perfect world at risk. You guys and your bloody free will. What to do? What to do? Well, you certainly can't stay here. I suppose I could make a little corner somewhere in history, a place where I can dump some of the other shit that I've left over, or I just wipe you from existence. Ooh, hang on. Actually, that all works out perfectly. Fire sale. Insta-kill. Minigun. Kaboom. Max ammo. Bonus points. Carpenter. Double points. I made an app once. At least I think that's what you call it. It started off really simple. All people did was press a button to indicate whether or not they'd had a good day. I tracked the data for everyone in the world. I mean, it was meant to help me understand people. It worked. But even in its simplest form, it was too much to take in. It actually made me depressed. It's hard trying to please everyone. In the beginning, and believe me, there was a beginning, everything was in its proper place. Time was linear, just as it should be. But a little thing called Element 115 changed all that. Especially when, what was it again? Oh, yes, when Group 935 came along. Once they started messing around with it, they buggered everything up. 115 shouldn't even exist in your dimension. But nonetheless, here we are. Bloody teleporters. Once Element 115 came along, the Apothecans weren't far behind. Have I mentioned them yet? The Apothecans are beings that feed on energy. Wait, that's an oversimplification. Energy is a rather broad term. I mean, it may be better to explain it as the spark of life, the purest form of energy that ever existed. Is that better? I'm not sure. Sounded a bit hippity-dippity new agey when I said it out loud. Anyway, this energy, the Apothecans, feed on it. They conquer and consume dimensions. It's kind of their thing. The ball-crushingly bad news is that their appetite is ferocious, voracious, insatiable even. They're hungry. Very hungry. Bottom line, if you don't sort shit out, they're going to gobble up this universe just like they gobbled up so many others. Bottom line, if you don't sort this out, they're going to gobble up this universe just like they gobbled up so many others. You know, Richthofen's doing pretty well without a soul. I think the one he had was evil. Same is probably true of Max's. Better off without. They can spend their days pondering whether or not they have one for all eternity. Oh well, it's a good way to pass the time.
Midway, this way of life we're bound upon, I woke to find myself in a dark wood, where the right road was wholly lost and gone. Me, how hard to speak of it. That rude and rough and stubborn forest. The mere breath of memory stirs the old fear in the blood. But when, at last, I stood beneath a steep hillside, which closed that valley's wandering maze, whose dread had pierced me to the heart-root deep, then I looked up and saw the morning rays, mantle its shoulder from that planet bright, which guides men's feet all right on all their ways. Our revels are now ended. These are actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the basest fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself. Yea, all which it inherits shall dissolve, and like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little lives are rounded with a sleep.
The Keepers, an ancient order who had been granted the wisdom to see beyond the limitations of their own realm. Even while the rest of mankind scrabbled around in the dirt, drinking their own piss, the Keepers took the mantle of benevolent watchers. Even while the rest of mankind scrabbled around in the dirt, drinking their own urine, the Keepers took the mantle of benevolent watchers. Like the seers and sages of the old world, they could foresee how the actions of the Apothecans would lead to the destruction of life itself. The Keepers have always been here, much like your good selves. They too were scattered and fragmented across the multiverse. They may have acted erratically, but know this: their actions were only ever concerned with the preservation of life itself. Remember what I said before about energy. Now here's the thing. I knew a bloke, and I'm talking way, way, way back. He was the sweetest, most charming individual you could ever wish to meet. He was funny too. We used to have such a good old laugh together. Honestly, my sides hurt thinking about it. He was my friend. He was my best friend. And then the Apothecans got hold of him. Since then, he's pretty much acted as their agent, zipping around the galaxy. Wait, I keep changing it, don't I? Which do you prefer, universe, multiverse, omni-fucking-verse? Oh, it doesn't really fucking matter, does it? Yeah, let's get on with it. Short version is, he's no longer sweet, charming, or funny. Since then, he's pretty much acted as their agent, zipping around the galaxy. Wait, I keep changing it, don't I? So which do you prefer? Universe, multiverse, omniverse? It doesn't really matter, does it really? Short version is, he's no longer sweet, charming, or funny. He's what brought them here when he escaped the key. So, Nikolai, Dempsey, Takeo, I'm talking to you now. Did you ever wonder where, when, and how Richthofen got his hands on the most powerful artifact in this or any universe? It's simple, really. Somewhere on his travels, got to be honest, I wasn't paying that much attention at the time, Richthofen straight up stole it. Honestly, he snatched it right out of a keeper's hands. The keepers, you're friends with those guys, right? Look, I know everything's gone to hell in a handbasket, but I'm really glad to see Maxis has got himself a bird now. I know she's a little bit drony, but I can fix her. I can fix everything. It'll be fine. Sophia and Maxis are really smart. They can be a good influence on the kids. In retrospect, it probably wasn't the best idea to leave the most powerful artifact in this or any other dimension just lying on the fucking table. But in all fairness, Maxis was a bit of a wild card. I mean, you remember he was actually just a little drone the last time you saw him. Anyway, he's in the summoning key now. Buggered if I know how we're going to get him out. Bloody lemon! You know, failures like that are part of the reason we're in this bloody mess. Well, that's torn it. My optimism is slowly diminishing as we speak. Come on, pull your finger out. I've known dogs that were smarter than you. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I don't think that was the right move. Numpties, one and all. Oh, you can't be happy with that. I know I'm not. Maybe have a little bit of a think about that, and make sure you don't make the same mistake again. Give me strength. Shameful. Absolutely shameful. Go on, my son. Get in there. Sweet as. Well played. I'm actually very impressed. You know, you guys have really grown on me. To be honest, I really didn't like you much at the start. Nice! The mutt's nuts, in fact. You guys always have to work this hard? I'm getting worked up, honestly. You have no idea how hard it's been from my side. Sorry. Keep up the good work. I'm sure you'll sort it out. Tank Dempsey once bet $50 that he could eat 50 hard-boiled eggs in 15 minutes. It's rumored that Tank Dempsey's real name is Thomas. Nah, not true. It's Ringo. Only joking. Or am I? Tank Dempsey holds the all-time record for one-arm push-ups, even in the universe where everyone only had one. On over 18 million occasions, Dempsey gave his life for the sake of his team. He's a bona fide American hero. Tank Dempsey once caught his testicles in the springs of a bed frame, and he lived to tell the tale. So remember, kids, keep your mattresses tight. Dempsey can throw a grenade farther than the greatest professional baseball players. He attributes this skill to his solitary arm training regime. The only time Tank Dempsey ever feared for his life was 15 minutes after taking an ill-advised bet. Okay, I think I've found a way to talk to you. Given all the shit hitting the fan, there's not much I can do other than give you a bit of encouragement. How about I give you some facts? Little ones. Quick ones, fun ones. It'll be good for morale. Okay, fellas. If you've been paying attention, or even if you haven't, it should be abundantly clear that things are seriously out of whack. Business as usual, I suppose. Anyway, I'm having a bit of a heated debate with the old Shadow Man and his Apothecan pals, and it's making it really hard to keep this reality stable. I mean, honestly, look at it. It's practically held together with tape and bits of string. I made an app once. At least I think that's what you call it. It started off really simple. All people did was press a button to indicate whether or not they'd had a good day. I tracked the data for everyone in the world. I mean, it was meant to help me understand people. It worked. But even in its simplest form, it was too much to take in. It actually made me depressed. It's hard trying to please everyone. Nikolai once bottle-fed vodka to a bear cub. They both regretted it, before and after. Nikolai Belinsky's grasp of the pros and cons of capitalist and communist economies is tenuous at best. Nikolai loved his wife. He was never the same after she died. Nikolai once had a brother. I don't know why he forgot him. For many years, I tried watering down Nikolai's vodka. He just drank more. Nikolai's breath is legendary, even though no one has ever actually smelled it. At one point, or some point, Nikolai used to be a writer. He kept journals of his many travels in Europe, much of it grossly exaggerated, of course. If I'm honest, I'm a bit scared. Seriously. Brown trousers time. I mean, I know it's the same old story. The forces of good and evil battling it out. Yeah, but no one ever tells you how much hard work it fucking is. You know, I'm not all powerful. It's always been a struggle to stay on top of it. Now more than ever. If it had been entirely up to me, it would have been a lot more straightforward, I tell you. Do what you can, eh? Here's something I just noticed. All of you died pretty much as you lived. Dempsey bravely followed orders. Takeo accepted his fate with honor. Nikolai battled with his own demons. It's funny, isn't it? Richthofen's the only one that really didn't see it coming. I'm quite pleased with that. Apparently, Richthofen has a problem with nuts. Make of that what you will. At the orphanage, Edward told everyone his dad was a famous scientist. They scrawled, "Teddy is a liar," on the schoolyard wall. Edward doesn't like spicy food. His brain gets distracted. Bad things happen. Richthofen's favorite song is My Way. He wonders when he will get to sing it. Edward Richthofen has trouble sleeping without a teddy bear, a problem that didn't present itself until he was an adult. Richthofen has a desperate need to feel appreciated. His ego is actually very fragile. So, as if things weren't bad enough, I'm struggling to maintain my presence. Bloody Shadow Man. At least he's in the same boat. How are things going besides all that? Making any progress? Bollocks. I'm phasing out again. Takeo has never once tasted American chocolate. I made sure I spared him that particular brand of suffering. The extent of Takeo's suffering at the hands of Division 9 is far, far worse than you can imagine. Takeo has a secret hobby. He does not speak of it for fear that he will be mocked. Takeo is actually pronounced Takeo, or is it Takeo? Takeo. It's one of life's biggest mysteries. Takeo knows that somewhere, sometime, he wasn't betrayed. he was honored. Throw a grape in the air. Takeo Masaki can slice it clean in half, even without a katana. Honestly, if you could see just what was going on outside your realm of perception, it would blow your minds. That's the main reason I kept it back. If I were to give you an analogy, I'd describe it like this. When a duck swims on the water, you only see it glide, apparently effortlessly across the lake. But underneath, as in beneath the surface, it's a whole different story. Its legs are moving like he's pedaling a fucking bicycle up a mountain. Well, that's me right now. I am that duck. I was explaining something before, but for the life of me, I really can't remember what the hell it was. It's too much information sometimes, know what I mean? I know you must be struggling to take it all in, but can you imagine how I feel? I've got heartfelt prayers to the angels, dying people's wish lists and letters to fucking Santa coming out of my bleeding ears. And it's hard to keep up, honestly. I hardly ever get any time for myself, or even just time to stand back and appreciate all the good that I've done. And now, I've got the bloody Shadow Man and the Apothecans throwing an intergalactic spanner in the works. I know the Shadow Man's probably talking to you. Don't trust him. He's evil. I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. I bet he's saying all sorts of terrible things, spreading all kinds of rumors about me. By the way, I spell rumors with a U, after the O before the R. That's a nice little Easter egg. In fact, it's everything. The minute you people teleported for the first time, you changed the rules. How am I supposed to keep track if you keep moving the pieces? Even when you were just a little problem, brewing in the far corner of existence, I tried to throw you a bone or two. I told you this, didn't I? The magic box of weapons, the little clues here and there. I always tried to give you a little help, without drawing too much attention to myself. The thing is, though, I can't just magic things out of thin air. I have to manipulate things that already exist in your reality. Like the perk drinks. They were something originally cooked up by Group 935. I just used them for my own ends. I honestly don't even know how they work. I swear. As for the songs, don't get me started. Oh, Maxis, you worry too much. In fact, aside from worrying, what do you do these days? As far as I can tell, you just repeat whatever I say in radio messages. No offense, of course. It's important to feel relevant. Big fan of what you do. Well. Sometimes free will does work out. Look at how he's used it, trying to right wrongs instead of skulking about in the house talking into a microphone. Good call on the windows there, Max. This whole process can get a bit messy. Right, here we go. It's a bit like the news, this. I mean, reading it on television. Sorry, I'm rambling. You should see what the Shadow Man's doing back here. Okay? Oh, Maxis, you worry too much. In fact, aside from worrying, what do you do these days? As far as I can tell, you just repeat whatever I say in radio messages. No offense, of course. It's important to feel relevant. Big fan of what you do. Well. Sometimes free will does work out. Look at how he's used it, trying to right wrongs instead of skulking about in the house talking into a microphone. Good call on the windows there, Max. This whole process can get a bit messy. Oh, Maxis, you worry too much. In fact, aside from worrying, what do you do these days? As far as I can tell, you just repeat whatever I say in radio messages. No offense, of course. It's important to feel relevant. Big fan of what you do. Well. Sometimes free will does work out. Look at how he's used it, trying to right wrongs instead of skulking about in the house talking into a microphone. Good call on the windows there, Max. This whole process can get a bit messy. Something else I should probably clarify. This is it. The ether. The infinite. Otherwise known as Agatha. Or is it Agatha? Well, whatever way you slice it or spell it, it's the reality beyond. Beyond the world you know. Beyond your perception. Just so we're clear, I'm absolutely not talking about death. That's a whole other can of worms. Speaking of which, you know how people say when you cut a worm in half, both parts keep on living? Well, they do. Kind of, for a bit. But then one of them dies, not sure if it's the arse or the head. Well, that's the problem with worms. They're a bit short on distinguishing features. What was the point I was making?